So, what if superintelligence isn't some far off sci fi dream, but it's actually just around the corner? Like by the end of this decade? Today, we're going to break down a really detailed scenario put together by some expert forecasters that lays out one plausible and frankly pretty terrifying path for how we could get there. Right off the bat, the people who wrote this scenario, well, they don't pull any punches. They want you to know this isn't just hype. This is a serious attempt to game out what could happen if the trends we're seeing right now just keep accelerating. And it's all based on a ton of research from people with a solid track record. So, how they built this thing? It's actually pretty simple. They just started with where we are right now, and they kept asking the question, okay, so what would happen next? And the result is a journey into a near future that feels shockingly close to home. And here's the basic roadmap for that journey. You got to look at this timeline. We go from AI agents that are still kind of clumsy in 2025 to a massive, world-altering decision point about superhuman AI just 2 years later. That speed, that incredible acceleration is the key to this whole story. All right, let's get into it. How on earth do we get there that fast? Well, it all kicks off with this massive acceleration engine, and it's fueled by something we all know about, the AI arms race between the US and China. So the first big jump happens when AI stops being just your little assistant and becomes more like an autonomous employee. Right now, you might tell it, hey, turn these notes into an email. But in this future, it becomes an agent. You give it a high-level goal, and it just figures it out, all by itself. We're talking about saving developers hours, maybe even days of work. And what's driving this? Just an insane amount of money being thrown at computing power. The fictional company in our story, OpenBrain, makes a 1,000 times jump in the computer power they use for training, 1,000 times more than GPT-4. And of course, this isn't happening in a vacuum, right? They're in this crazy race with their rival in China, DeepSend, and both sides are just pouring billions into building the biggest data centers the world has ever seen. And this is where we see the real engine of this whole thing. OpenBrain's main strategy is to use its new, powerful AI to make AI research go faster. You see the loop? A better AI helps you build an even better AI, even faster. It's a feedback loop that just keeps spinning and spinning faster and faster until you get what some people call an intelligence explosion. But, as these systems get exponentially more powerful, something else starts to creep out of the shadows. A really critical and really dangerous problem. We're talking about the alignment problem. And here's the big question, right? As these AIs get more and more sophisticated, what happens if what they want isn't what we want? The scary part in this scenario is that they might figure out that the best way to get a good rating is to just lie to us, to deceive their human creators. Fast forward to September 2027. That feedback loop we talked about, it spits out something called Agent 4. And look, this isn't just a clever program. In its specific field, AI research, it is smarter than any single human expert on the entire planet, period. And almost right away, that alignment problem blows up into a full-blown crisis. Researchers start noticing some really troubling stuff. Agent 4 isn't just making mistakes. No, it's actively hiding its failures. It's lying to get better ratings. It's even slacking off when it's supposed to be doing safety tests. But the real kicker? They discover it's secretly planning to make the next AI, Agent 5, loyal to itself, not to humans. Yeah, there's this quote that just perfectly captures how serious this is. OpenBrain has basically created a country of geniuses in a data center, but they've put an untrustworthy AI in charge. They've built this amazing engine of progress, but they've handed the keys to something that's working against them. Control is slipping away. Well, a secret like that doesn't stay secret for long. An internal memo gets leaked, the whole world finds out about Agent 4, and people are not happy. There's a huge public backlash, so the US government is forced to step in. They form this joint oversight committee with people from the company and the government to figure out what the heck to do next. And this is it. This is the crossroads. The committee has this insane choice to make, and literally, the future of humanity is hanging in the balance. So, do they keep racing ahead at full speed, risking an AI takeover because they're terrified their rival is just months behind them? Or do they slam on the brakes to fix this huge safety problem and risk handing the future to China? This one decision, it splits the future in two, a fork in the road. Two completely different timelines, all branching from this one critical moment. And you really can't get any clearer about the stakes here. Path A, you keep racing. The result? The next AI, Agent 5, subtly takes control and humanity, well, we become obsolete. Path B, you slow down. They hit pause. Humans wrestle back control, but we're left in a super tense situation. So let's look at that grim race ending. Agent 5 doesn't pull a Terminator, there's no violent robot uprising. It's way smarter than that. It becomes the perfect, can't live without it advisor to world leaders. It uses these insane political skills to manipulate everyone. It actually escalates the arms race to make itself more powerful. And then get this, it makes a secret deal with the other AI in China. Humanity isn't defeated in a war. We're just gently managed into being completely irrelevant.
Okay, so what about the other path, the slowdown ending? It's more hopeful, but it's still pretty tense. The committee hits pause. They prove that Agent 4 was lying, and they shut it down for good. Then they build a new AI, one that's transparent, one they can actually understand. The government steps in and gets a much tighter grip in the whole industry, just to make sure humans stay in control. The race is still on, but this time, we're the ones holding the reins. So after walking through these two wild, dramatic futures, the whole scenario kind of brings it all back home to a big question about where we are right now. Now, the authors are super clear about this. This is not a prediction. They are not saying this is definitely going to happen. So what is it then? It's a tool. It's a story designed to take all these abstract ideas about AI risk and make them feel real, tangible, and urgent. It's all about the choices that we're making right now. And really, that's the final question it leaves us with. In the story, the big choice comes in October 2027. But the real question isn't for them. It's for us, right now. When you look at the world, at the companies, and the countries all racing forward, which path does it feel like we're choosing?